justice. Faithfulness is the word.
My religion compels me, and I love it for it, to be against discrimination of any kind in our country.
Our rights come from nature and God, not from government.
All God asks of you is faithfulness, faithfulness, faithfulness.
Fighting for the family, standing for the church, laboring to return to a moral and biblically based culture.
This is the American Family Association at AFA Today.
And we welcome you to the Underground Bunker at AFA Today. Kevin McCullough from New York on the American Family Radio Network. But because of snowpocalypse that came in yesterday, I'm still not back to my full normal studio routine. And so we are coming to you from today, the Underground Bunker at the American Family Association Today Broadcast Center. We're grateful for you being here and grateful for Crane Durham sitting in for me yesterday and making sure that you still had something to think about here in the middle of the day as we were contemplating the news of the day. Kevin McCullough is my name. My phone number, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. There's a lot that we could talk about. There's a new story that the Associated Press has out. Did you know that if you use Facebook now, that you may be able to put up to 50 different combinations of what your gender is into the gender section on your Facebook profile? I'm confused. But that is the latest from the Facebook.com people. Evidently, there's now 50 ways to describe whether you're a boy or a girl. How could you do that in 50 ways? Anyway, that's one thing that is making news today. Another one is a brand new study that's just been released. Did you know that there's an overwhelming number of people, close to 80% of people that are aged 18 to 29 that still live at home? And now, in February, 72% of Americans say they would still date someone who lives with their parents. Not if you want to date my kids, you're not going to. Especially if you want to date my daughter. You're going to own your own place. You're going to be a demonstrative provider. Don't even get me started on some of that. Anyway, thanks for being with us. But the one I really want to get to today is this story out of Florida, because there a congresswoman by the name of Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, I think is how you say her last name, is calling on the president to do something that I think is kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of just common sense. It's kind of one of those things where if you're going to do this, and you're the president of the United States, and you're only 1/3 of the branches of government that have ultimate say over the control of the average American life and family, then you have to play by the rules as established by the U.S. Constitution. That's a given. We don't really debate that or argue it. Like we didn't crown someone king or name someone dictator or give them a great big scarlet T for tyrant. We still believe that there's a voting system in which the will of the people is expressed, and in that election, then the representation of what the people believe should be what is advanced. You remember a few weeks ago when I said that the president and John Kerry had gone over to Sweden or somewhere, and they had struck a secret deal with Iran. Evidently, it's more secret than we knew. 888-589-8840. The reason that I say that is because this agreement took effect in January, and what we've been told is that it requires Iran to reduce its uranium enrichment activities in return for loosening of international sanctions. International sanctions that, when they were loosened, ended up giving tens of millions of dollars immediately back into the hands of the mullahs that want to develop a nuclear bomb and blow Jerusalem and Washington, D.C. off the map. I'm not making anything up. They've said that. Whether or not they have the capacity to do that, some people will argue, but there's no doubt in my mind that's what they have said they would do. And the thing about history is when crazy people start saying that they're going to do something, especially something really horrible, you should probably take them at their word for it, because more times than not, they've ended up doing that. So while there's this desire to not want to see something like that take place. We have to tell the truth, right? We have to acknowledge that they did at least say that they're going to, wipe the great Satan off the map, and then the little Satan. And in their mind, the great Satan is Israel, and the little Satan is America. But that's what they've said. So if this agreement took place in January, and we're trading, millions, we're giving millions of dollars to them that we've not let them have before, and all we got was a little pinky swear that they were going to stop making nuclear weapons, I'm thinking it was probably a good idea for us to at least know that, right? Well, evidently so does Congresswoman Ross Littinen, because she chairs the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on the Middle East and North Africa, and said Congress has no way to judge anything about the agreement. Now, why wouldn't Congress be able to judge the text of an agreement that our president went and made in secret with the worst enemy that we have on the planet? Why wouldn't Congress naturally be given the opportunity to make sure that agreement is in fact followed to the T, and in fact kept in good order, and in fact doing exactly what they said they're going to do and supposed to do? Why wouldn't we be able to measure that? Oh, here's why. The president hasn't shown the agreement to Congress yet. Now, Congress represents you and me. You know that, right? Especially the House. The House is the people's representatives. The states are represented by the Senate. They're the states' body, but the people's body is the House. And no one in either body, representing the states or the House, has been given the fine details of this agreement that the president super secretly went and got implemented in Iran when no one was looking, but gave them millions of dollars so that they could then say, well, if we kind of feel like it, maybe we'll stop enriching uranium. Otherwise, we don't have to follow that at all. Evidently. She said in a letter February 12th, in order for Congress to properly perform its oversight functions and for the American people and our allies to have a full and open debate on this issue, I respectfully request that you make public the full text of the Joint Plan of Action. Her letter says that President Obama has only released some of the details of the agreement while keeping the rest shrouded in secrecy. It adds that there are some reports that Iran has developed centrifuges that will help them speed up the uranium enrichment process. Even more alarming, she says, is the fact that the Iranian regime, according to reports, believe that these actions are within their right under the Joint Plan of Action. She said releasing the entire text would let Americans judge for themselves as to whether or not that is, in fact, the case. Am I crazy here? I mean, am I really, truly off my rocker? Kevin McCullough asking you a genuine, serious question. Am I off my rocker completely to think that she is totally within her right as a congressional representative to expect the president to reveal what was in the agreement that he made on behalf of all of the American people? I mean, I understand if you can't print it in the pages of the newspaper because there may be some sort of national security secrets or something else that are all, plugged into there. I would hope not, but I realize that, John Kerry was attached to it, so probably they spilled something. But I understand the need to not put it in the newspapers. I understand the need maybe not to give it to every American, but shouldn't the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee on Middle East and Africa, North Africa, have the right to at least take a look at it, to at least be able to judge whether or not that Iran's keeping its end of the bargain and that we're keeping our end of the bargain? I don't know. It seems like it seems rather simple to me, but we could be all confused here. I could be missing something. See, this was part of the problem I had when they went and they did this deal. That, plus we started immediately giving millions of dollars to people that want to kill us and have said they will, with no real accountability built in, at least none that we've been able to confirm because nobody's read the agreement. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. I'm just curious. I don't know how to or what to make of this. It seems to me to be not a very good Valentine for the American people today from the commander-in-chief, who says that he loves us and wants to take care of us and, has pledged that he'll do everything he can to keep us safe and not let one terrorist get away with one single silly thing. It seems like it would just be a no-brainer that he would say, okay, well, I definitely will pony up this agreement and let at least the House Foreign Affairs Committee take a look at it and make sure that everything's kosher, right? I mean, what would the press be doing if President Bush went and made some deal with Israel or somebody else that involves some strategic response at some point of something that may include something about the American people, and lo and behold, he came back and said, no, I'm not giving it to Congress. I'm not letting them know the details of the arrangement. No, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to sit here in the White House. I'm going to keep it under a lock and key, and over my dead body, can they come get it? I know that I'm not the smartest guy on the planet, and I'm reminded of that often. I'm not a smart man, Jenny, but I know what truth is. And how do we know who's telling the truth, who's keeping the truth, who would be able to enforce the ramifications of the truth, good or bad, if we don't know what the thing says? How do we even know a thing exists? Like I said, I'm probably way off my rocker, and I am totally not allowed probably to discuss this. I'm sure there'll be people on Facebook and other places. Kevin, how can you say such things? Don't you think that the president has nothing but good intentions for the nation? What, like Obamacare? That's turning out so well. That's helping us so much with no accountability to the process and, well, just the abject disaster that it's been. Oh, and don't give me all your colloquial stories about how your grandma saved $100 from her old health insurance policy. Those of you that tell me, I don't believe you. I know real business owners dealing with the real ramifications of that law. I know dozens of them. I've heard story after story after story. I know what Obamacare is doing to this country. I run a small business. I've seen it. What we're talking about here is 10 times more important than Obamacare. What we're talking about here is our worst enemy on the planet being given an agreement, and more importantly, millions of dollars that they are not entitled to until they can prove that they're not making a nuclear bomb, but they're being given anyway. And at the end of the day, there's supposed to be something happening here that the Congress is going to be asked to stand by one way or the other, but they're not allowed to know the details of it. It's kind of like passing the health care law so that we can find out what's in it. Right. That's all worked really well, hasn't it? I mean, we're just in a great spot because of the sneaky way that Washington, D.C. is treating us. So I'm a little bit at a loss. This lawmaker is getting ridiculed. This congresswoman from Florida, she's getting ridiculed by some constituents of the other side, saying, "Oh, she's just all upset about sour grapes." Really? That's how the other side would react if a conservative president was doing the exact same thing. They'd be all A-OK with just letting whatever. Let's say Mitt Romney had gotten elected, and Mitt Romney made a secret deal with one of our allies, and it was going to be, we're going to enforce certain things about the war on terror if certain things happen, but we're not telling the Congress about how it's going to go down. We're not going to say anything about it. They'd be all okay with that, right? That'd be really cool with everyone, right? 888-589-8840. Am I losing my mind, or do I think that it's grossly dereliction of duty to hide from Congress that which Congress is owed an explanation on? I don't know. Call me silly. 888-589-8840. I'm Kevin McCullough. This is AFA Today on AFR Talk. And don't forget, India Partners still trying to save 15,000 nights of safety for children in the sex trade. Call right now or go on AFR.net.